Ascension, Columbia St. Mary's. Ascension bought us in Mequon. And I come up here once a month to do a little cardiac rehab class. Now, I do recognize a couple people. Does anyone recognize me?
Sure.
Other than these, you, okay, that's it. That's it. 3 out of 30, I'll take those odds. So, super informal. If you guys have any questions, you got a dietitian basically here for a period of time. Feel free to ask me. I can field pretty many questions when they become doctor related. They go to your doctors. So we're gonna talk a little bit about healthy eating and drinking during the holidays, because guess what's coming up? Kind of the busiest time of the year from here on out. We just go on a slide all the way to the new year. Where we have lots of enjoyment, lots of fun, lots of things we want to do. I put up here some mental blocks of holiday eating. Have you heard, or let me know if you've heard of any of these. The feel-good factor. When you load your body with like chocolate and sugary, yummy things, it releases serotonin and you feel good, right? When you have like a little nugget with a little almond in, or leftover Halloween candy. The holiday food shortage. It's the only time of the year I really get to get those kind of things. Who makes candy yams, right? In July and August and yams and all that. That's, who makes a big turkey all the time? Do you guys normally make turkey throughout the years, like a big turkey? We smoke our own meats. We have a big smoker, so the neighborhood loves us. We smoke like crazy. We do overnight smokes. We wake up sometimes at midnight and smoke till the next morning if we have a lot of people coming, which maybe I shouldn't tell you. The sentimental food value, this reminds me of home. When you're in college, you're like, oh my God, that's just like how my mom used to make stuff. It just tugs at your heartstrings a little bit. This one, we've all done this. You don't want to offend anyone. They spend some good time on that food, And my mother-in-law, who I adore to the depths of my soul, now lives in Florida, was convinced I loved the green bean casserole. Well, when my husband and I were dating, I always oohed and ahed over her food, and she makes it to this day. And everyone says it's something I like, and I don't. So, again, I'm not going to offend the person I adore. Oh, this is my favorite, though. I'm going to start eating better after the holidays, for sure. From now until the end of the year, it's kind of a free-for-all in some areas. Put your parachute on and go. And then, I'll start on Monday. Let me just blow this weekend work on it. Or, this is my husband, I'm just going to have one. He bought a big bag of Halloween candy, took it to his office, and brought the bag opened, and I might add it was not surgically opened. I mean, he probably broke it with his teeth. And I said, what does this do at home? We have teenage boys. And he said, man, I was only gonna have one, maybe two. I'm up to 15 a day. So he had to bring them home, get them out of our house. Any other ones you can think of? Did I hit some good ones? Is anyone perfect and doesn't know any of these? No, good, okay. We're in the right place. I want to talk a little bit about some holiday food realities. It's gonna stare you in the face. You have a 5.9 ounce of turkey. Oh, don't you hate when I do ounces and grams and all that stuff? Basically, it's gonna fit on the palm of your hand and go up about that high. That's a good amount of turkey. That has about 289 calories. I mean, food has calorie. 42 grams of protein, hooray, high biological value. Does have some fat in there. We're gonna get a little dark meat in there too. We're gonna keep the skin on, right? So some of the fat leaches into the meat, which makes it kind of supple and delicious. A little bit of carb, barely any. We get some sodium in there though, right? Because we usually put a marinade on there. We put something on there. And then it has some cholesterol. Even though it's low cholesterol, anything that has a liver has cholesterol. So, doesn't that look, well, my picture didn't focus very good, sorry about that. But that's just one of the part of turkey, or Thanksgiving and the holidays that are coming up that we'll probably see. Next, come on, who doesn't like a good mashed potato? A good scoop, bloop, or maybe 2 scoops, bloop, bloop. So I kind of went with a cup on this as a serving size because serving sizes of potatoes are usually 3 tablespoons. I don't even have to answer that one, right? Say more, right? 3 tablespoons. That's what you lick off when you stir it. And hopefully no one sees you put the spoon back in, or you do another spoon. The good thing is I have all men in my house, so they shouldn't come in my kitchen. Although my one son has amazing knife skills. It has a little bit of protein, 9 grams of fat, depending on what you put in there. 35 carbs. You need some carbs, right? It gives you energy to walk, talk, think, and breathe. It's gonna have some sodium there, you guys, because we're adding some stuff there. Or if you use instant, or if you do half and half. And it does have a little bit of cholesterol, because you're probably putting a little butter in there, a little milk in there, or maybe your aunt who makes it, who's a little bit of a finger licker, made that. And that's gonna have, so now we're looking at 237 calories. In addition, just to the turkey and potatoes. I just had turkey and potatoes. That's all I had. Now I'm gonna add cornbread stuffing, which I am a master at, I'm not gonna lie. Almost 400 calories for that thing. Tiny amount of protein, 17 grams of fat, but it's just stuffing. It's not like greasy like a deep fried French fry or an onion ring, but it has some fat. Carb, about 2 carb choices if you're diabetic. Grabbing some sodium in here, 455 milligrams. What's the new recommendations for sodium?
Is it 2,000?
Used to be 2,000, we're dropping low to about 1,500 now for American Heart. So that's less than a tablespoon, gang. Less than a teaspoon, I'm sorry. Oh, I almost said tablespoon, sorry. But we're not having any cholesterol here. Okay. So far I've had turkey, mashed potato, stuffing. Yum. We're gonna put a little gravy on, because the meat does get dry, because I'm choosing a lot of the white meat. Now, a cup sounds really like a lot. I do realize that, but when you use your gravy boat and you pour it over, you're gonna hit the potato, you're gonna hit the meat, maybe the stuffing, and then sometimes if it gets a little dry, you add just a little bit more, because it kind of cooled down on you. 121 calories, little protein, because we have some of the goodness that came through there. Fat, 14 grams, some carb. Here we go. Starting to rock and roll now. 1373 of the sodium, and a little bit of cholesterol. Are you feeling full yet? I am. Now, I threw a ham in there because while turkey is pretty traditional around these times, so does a ham. And at the place I work at Ascension, they have a deal with honey baked ham, and they'll get you a pretty good spiral ham for a good price. So I'm talking 1 thick slice. Almost 200 calories, great protein. Oh, here we go. 12 grams of fat, not worried about the carb, 1,400 milligrams of sodium, and 93 grams of cholesterol. But I'm just gonna have 1 piece of turkey and 1 piece of ham. All right, sweet potatoes with a little bit of marshmallow. Only did a half cup because I am gonna watch what I'm eating. That's about 120 calories. Carbs a little bit. So sodium is about 270 milligrams. Not too bad, because I'm only having a half cup. It is a little sweet. There's marshmallows on top. Oh, the green bean casserole. Oh, comes back every time. Serving size is about 3/4 of a cup, because you know what? I do have to eat it in front of her, because she'll feel bad. 167 calories, a little bit of protein. 9 grams of fat, though. Green beans, 9 grams of fat, green beans. Oh yeah, the soup's in there, and the deep fried mushroom, the onions. Some carb. Here we go. 439 milligrams of sodium for 3/4 of a cup. Do you think we're going to do some math at the end? We are. There's no quiz though. Gotta have a roll. Come on, because someone made them homemade. Or you got them at your favorite Regina's Bakery, or you got them at someplace you really like. You're going to have 1. You're not going to have 5. You're going to have 1. A little more than 100 calories. A little bit of protein, a little bit of fat, carbs. Uh-oh, get some of that snuck up. For those of you that bake, you know you need salt when you bake. But it's just like 1 roll. Cranberry sauce, yum. Only 1/4 of a cup. So I'm talking teeny McTiny, but something a little sweet and a little citrus to offset. 104 calories, some carbs, not much sodium, no fat. Okay. Anyone taking a guess? Anyone really good at math? What do you think? How many calories do you think we're at here? with my one plate. And I do have one piece of turkey, one piece of ham. I have the 2 potatoes mashed, I have sweet, I have a roll, I have stuffing. Sounds like a good plate, right? And a little bit of cranberry sauce. What do you think?
2,000?
Too many? 2,000? All right. My total came to about 1,701, so a little under 2,000. You know, I am watching what I'm eating. Look at my fat, 82 grams. But that didn't seem like that much, did it? I didn't go to McDonald's. I didn't get a pizza. Right? Total carbs, for any of you watching your blood sugars. Look at that one. Total sodium. I forgot. What did we say? We're trying to be close to a teaspoon, which is 2,000 milligrams, but now we're going a little bit lower at 1,500. Yikes. Yikes. So based on 2,000 calorie a day intake, which is pretty good there, which is pretty generous for most of us, that total calorie, that's 85% of our caloric intake. In one meal. 85%. The fat is 132%. So 100% in some things is really good, and something like this isn't so good. In terms of our carb intake, that's half the day of the carb intake if we're basing it on 300 grams, which if you're like a South Beach kind of person, you haven't had 300 grams of carb in a long time. And look at the sodium. Almost 150% of what's even suggested. I kept it at a teaspoon. So that one little meal did a little bit of stuff. That's the truth. I just kind of want you guys to see the numbers. Now, does that mean you can't be thankful on Thanksgiving and you can't celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas? Of course you can, because those holidays are just specific times that don't get us to the total that we are, okay? But I just always like to remind people what this turns out to be, what this adds up to be. So then what happens if they send you with a plate home? You gotta double that, you know? Or let's say you eat at, most people seem to eat at like 1, 3, and like 4. Like those are the times, 1, 3, and 4. So if you pick one of those times, if you eat at 1, you can watch a little football. And at 7 o'clock, you might want a little turkey sandwich again. So some of this stuff starts all over. All right. I'm gonna move to drinks now. Just because every once in a while you like a little something fun. Just a peppermint mocha, just something this time of year that a lot of us have. Kind of specialty coffees, a little bit sweeter. 470 calories, 22 grams of fat, and 61 grams of carb. That is more than a sandwich and a piece of fruit and some baked chips right there. Pumpkin spice, there's pumpkin spice everywhere. Pumpkin spice, pumpkin, my boys went to Culver's and they got pumpkin shakes. Same thing, about 470 calories, the fat, the carbs. And you know, for that normal size cup, because remember this used to be our cup, this is now our cup. Margarita, you know, people do like a little bit of a little bit of a fancy drink with a little bit of zing to it. 408 calories, and not a flavored margarita, just a plain old-fashioned margarita with a little salt on the side. Eggnog, no liquor. Do you already see those in the store? They're all like in that one part of the Piggly Wiggly now. They have all the little eggnogs, like the one in the red, the one in the green. So it's coming at us. So add that drink. Oh, because you forgot to have a drink with your meal. There we go. So, helpful hints during the holiday. Exercise, okay? Keep moving. You guys have a really great place here, great resources with these ladies here, the physicians here. You're probably gonna have some extra time during that day. My husband and I always go to the club in the morning, kind of throw our stuff in the smoker, and we go work out. And we kind of feel like, checked it off our list, done. And then we eat. But think about it like this too. Exercise does help lower your appetite. It just does. It's a good thing to do. And during the holidays, a lot of us increase our eating and we decrease our activity, and the gap is huge. The gap is huge. So keep the gap closer together. If you know you're gonna be at someone's house eating, this is another thing you can do is offer to bring a dish. So what I do with my friends now is we have a big green bean joke. So I now make green beans that I kind of saute with a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of sea salt, and then I throw some tomatoes on there. So I kind of make the version in a way of a green bean casserole, but like a healthier green bean, like a real vegetable. So that's one thing you can do, but don't rule out this exercise. And if our weather continues on, which I'm sure it's not going to, get up there and walk, get up there and move. I have a friend who does a hula hoop. She has a hula hoop, and that's her thing now, and does planks and sit-ups and stuff like that. Review your cooking methods. Do you know anyone who fries a turkey? No? I have a cousin who fries a turkey. Okay. Yeah, deep fried turkey. Mm-hmm. But we don't do that, right? Am I the only naughty one who smokes? No problem. Smokes a turkey. But actually we keep it lean. We keep no salt rubs. We make our own rubs and all of that. But again, baking, broiling, grilling, roasting, any of these things are going to be better forms to bring some of the fat down. And I'm going to talk about healthy substitutions in just a minute. Again, trying to steam more, roast more, and do any of you like roast vegetables? Doesn't it sound like a really fancy thing? Yeah. You take your baking pan, you throw parchment paper out because who wants to clean everything up? You throw your veggies on there, you throw maybe a little bit of olive oil if you want on there, you turn your oven on 375, you put it in for 25 minutes. That, folks, is roasting a vegetable. That's it. It's delicious. I have teenage boys who are interesting with what they can eat. They eat a lot, and they will literally sit and not talk if I make roasted Brussels sprouts and carrots. They will just pick it clean, and it's just such a nice natural flavor. Because sometimes steaming, I know sometimes we over steam and they get a little mushy. Yuck. Nobody wants that. Any questions so far? Yes.
For the salt, can you not use all these different kinds of salt substitutes?
Absolutely, you can use salt substitutes.
Would that cut that down, way down then?
Very much down. I just did it kind of normal without salt substitutes. But you can. They're made out of a potassium compound. So unless your kidney, your renal doctor would tell you not to, you can definitely use those. Okay, that would be the only thing. Yeah.
What did you say to put on the vegetables? Olive oil?
I just put a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of kosher salt. In the oven they go. In the oven, and just the tiniest bit.
Yeah.
But roasting sounds kind of, oh, I wonder how I roast. You know, we know how to bake. We open the oven, we put it in, and we bake it. That would be the version of roasting. You know, it's more of a dry method, yes.
Uncovered?
Uncovered.
Yeah.
Uncovered, that's the difference. Yeah, so those of you that have roast, I mean, at first it just.
Why do you even need salt on it?
I do it for my children. Yeah, you don't have to. And I just put, we have kosher salt, we put just a tiny bit on. You wouldn't have to. You could put pepper on easily. You could put some other seasonings on. Yeah, I have a 16 and a 17-year-old, and they're not quite at the salt-free stage. Like they're just, they're like this far away from it.
Is sea salt better than regular salt?
Good question. Is sea salt better than regular salt? They're both salt.
Right.
Sea salt has a bigger molecule, so in theory you're supposed to use less. Although I see a lot of people use more than they should because it's very in vogue now. It's very cool. A lot of people have those little salt shakers and they curve like this, and then you pick the sea salt out. So it's kind of a trendy thing right now. But it's still salt, it's just a bigger molecule, so just use less. Use less. Okay? Yeah.
And you cut the vegetables in chunks?
I use baby carrots and I throw them on.
Okay.
And when I do the Brussels sprouts, I do cut them in half though.
Yeah.
It just goes a little bit better, you know. Yes.
Is there a difference between sugar and fruit, like grapes or whatever?
You mean a difference between table sugar and fruit?
Yeah, right. Is it, which is better for you?
Fruit is definitely better. Question is, what's the difference between like table sugar and fruit? They're both sugar. Fructose is actually a simple sugar.
Okay.
It's called fructose because it's from the fruit. Sucrose is table sugar. What is better? The fructose is. It's very sweet naturally. It breaks apart in your body very nice, but usually with fruit, with fructose, comes other things. Comes water-soluble vitamins found in fruits. Also comes fiber. With table sugar, it's just sugar.
Sugar.
There's no fiber, there's nothing else in there unless what's added in that product. So fruit is always gonna be your better option, and it's really sweet. I call it the sweet threshold, for those of you that have heard me say this before. I'm in my 40s, and when I was little, there used to be a candy aisle, or a candy section. Now there's a candy aisle. There used to be 2 ice cream kind of sections. Now there's the ice cream and the ice cream novelties around the corner. Our threshold, our sweet threshold has gone up some more. When I was little, we had chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, and like mint chip. Now there's chocolate chip cookie dough, brownie batter. You can add things into it. So our sweet threshold is up here. My kids have had things that have been chocolate chip blizzard cookie batter with sprinkles on. So when they would have an apple or this, the apple's nowhere near as sweet. The orange isn't even that sweet. Ah, Mom, I had the blizzard. If you bring that sweet threshold down, when you have those wonderful grapes that are on sale, and they're on sale usually because they're plentiful and they're in season and they're yummy. I would never buy a watermelon right now. I mean, you're gonna spend $9 and it's not even gonna be that red. But grapes that are on sale, or the oranges, or the apples, or the pears, these are things that are really good, sweet, and in season. And when you bring that threshold down, that tastes amazing. And that's what you wanna go for. That's a good question. Anything else? No? Lower fat ingredients for cooking. There are so many fat-free, half-fat, low-fat alternative now. It's amazing. Fat-free is just what it says. They've cut almost all out. There's less than a 0.5 gram amount of fat per serving in a fat-free product. In a low-fat or reduced-fat product, it has to have at least 25% less fat than the original product. So, it's definitely going to be better than the full-fat version. Some people don't like that low-fat version because they don't like how it feels in their mouth. So you can go in the middle, okay? But there's lots of fat alternatives out there. And I'll just say this because we're all over 21, right? Okay. Lower kind of alcohol, calories. Try not to go with like the margaritas and the daiquiris and the eggnogs with the liquor and, you know, usually a glass of wine. We sip it, right? We sip it, more of a dry wine, doesn't have as much sugar in. If you're having a beer, don't go for the German dark kind of beer that you can bite. Go with the light beer. That's a little bit better. I'm German, so I can say that. We used to have those real dark, bitey ones. Or like a low-calorie soft drink. And then a lot of the holiday beverages, I was kind of joking a little bit. My one boy likes eggnog. Yuck. But I get him the fat-free eggnog, or the low-fat. And he really doesn't know the difference. And he's not very motivated to go into the refrigerator, so he doesn't know it comes in a low-fat container. So there's lots of great things out there. Also, there's, to sweeten things, sugar-free syrup. We have that in our house routinely. I don't buy regular syrup. I buy the sugar-free. They don't need to be having all that sugar. And you can add it to things for the sweetness, or no whipped cream. I love the low-fat. Another thing I want to tell you about the holidays, eat regularly. If you're gonna have that big meal, so do I want you to eat when you're not hungry? Kind of. I want you to get a little something, so then when you go up to your big meal, you're not just going crazy and choosing absolutely everything. Try to keep on as much of a regular schedule as you can. I suspect on Thanksgiving, a lot of people won't have 3 meals. I hope they don't have 1 meal. I hope you can shoot for 2 meals, okay? Again, because if you starve yourself in anticipation, you're justifying, man, I haven't eaten in 10 hours. Of course I'm gonna eat something. And you know, I'm gonna have a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. So try to get away from that. Also, healthy snacking. Like if you can't bring a dish, you know, maybe you're bringing some almonds. Maybe you're bringing that with a little bit of dark chocolate, which is a nice combination. I'm bringing always that bean kind of thing that we joke about now. Maybe instead of like the big, interesting cheese platter with all the spreads on, you've cut up some low-fat cheese right there. You have wheat crackers. I mean, that's an okay thing. Yes?
If you have a product that's advertised as no fat and one that's advertised as low fat, which one is healthier of the two?
Which is healthier? Depends what you're looking for. If you're looking to keep the fat completely low, go with the fat-free or the no fat. And if you're looking and you're okay with some of the fat in there, you can go with the reduced fat or the low fat. By then it becomes, remember though, what I want to point out too is, just because something says fat-free, the calories do not necessarily follow. When a manufacturer draws one thing down, like the fat, they got to put something up or you're not going to buy it. So they're likely going to put the sugar up, or the salt they're going to put up. So you're going to buy it. Same with the opposite products. If you're drawing like the sugar down, they're almost always putting the fat up. They want it palatable. Let's face it, who is going to go, let's say y'all have to come visit me in my hospital, and you go to the cafeteria. They're not, in our cafeteria, we don't have low fat, low sodium soup. It would never sell more than one bowl. We have regular soup that has salt in. So a lot of times when you see, again, always think when something's drawn down, you look at that label and they see what they put up on you. And if you're like, okay, I'm okay if I get a little bit more carbohydrate for the fat, I'm willing to take that. Because, you know, my blood sugars are good, I really don't have diabetes, and I'm gonna watch my portion, you know. It's a little bit of a game. It's a little bit of a game that we consumers have to be smart about. Any questions on that? No?
What about diet soda? Do you think it's good or bad for you?
Well, what are you drinking diet soda in place of?
Regular.
Okay, question was, do you like diet soda, is it better? And my question back was, what are you drinking in place of? If you're drinking diet soda in place of water, no.
No.
If you're drinking diet soda in place of low-fat milk, no.
Or a Coke Zero?
If you're drinking, yes. If you're drinking, for those of us watching our blood sugars and our weight, those lower calorie beverages are neutral on your weight and they're neutral on your blood sugar. They are man-made. They don't naturally occur in the environment. So there are going to be some products in there, some things in there that maybe takes a while for our stomach to handle. I always say to people, if you're going to have something like that, try not to have more than 2 a day. 1 a day is okay, but really no more than that. Try to go with water, 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 water. You know how we always say, well, water, it's just water. There's nothing in water. That's not really true. Well, water doesn't have calorie and, folic acid and B vitamins. It hydrates your body. We can all be, I suspect actually at this point I'm dehydrated. I was at the hospital since 7 a.m. I saw about 15 patients today. I think I drank 2 things, so I'm pretty sure my fluids are down and my sodium level is high. So I've been drinking all the way up here. Hence I almost didn't make it to the bathroom. We talked about that. So water is such an important nutrient just for the hydration status alone. Did you have a question?
Yes. You know, talking about this no fat and low fat diet, they say, I don't buy anything like that because they say that's the worst thing for you. Because they're putting more junk in there to make it taste better, and that's where you're putting your weight on.
Well, interesting. Everyone heard that we're talking about low fat versus buying the regular fat product. Most cardiologists are going to tell you to stay away from fat completely. They're not going to say eat as much sour cream and whole milk and cheese. None of these cardiologists or the ones I know are going to say that ever. Does it cause you to eat more? It can give you a placebo effect. I've done something good, therefore I'm going to have something else. Or I'm going to have more of it. Not realizing that the calorie level still exists. Or could exist in a higher form, because now that we drew the fat down, we put the sugar up, and now look how many calories. Do you guys remember like in the 90s they had those Entenmann's bakery products and desserts, and everyone, when I was in college, like they all ran and got the fat-free Entenmann's, and all of us were gaining weight in our jeans, and we couldn't figure it out. Well, they drew all the sugar up, kept the fat down, and we thought we'd eat the whole darn thing. No, don't. Portion, 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 portion. It's always portion. Good question though.
Wait, but what she said, and I was going to ask you this, so said the low fat or no fat or whatever, more chemicals are put in too.
Right, it's
the
not
junk,
natural. It's
the
not
junk.
naturally occurring. Absolutely,
You
it's
have to
altered.
really
It's-
read the nutritional.
Right, it's genetically, it's altered. It's modified. Absolutely, it does not occur.
You just have to think through and decide.
Right, and a lot of times there's a cumulative effect. Do you want to be eating it in your yogurt, in your sour cream, in your this, in your that? I mean, use good common sense. That's why we say plant-based diet. Grains, fruits, vegetables. These are things that aren't altered. don't have to be altered, if that makes sense. Okay? Yes?
And going back to the sugar-free soda, within the last year, Pepsi has taken aspartame out of their drinks. Is there an issue with that chemical product? Or
Who was taken out? I'm sorry?
Pepsi.
Oh, you know, I think they had some problems. Remember, that's something that has phenylketone, or it's not helpful for some pregnant women. It can actually cause a birth defect. So they might have just said, let's just get rid of that altogether. You know? Yes.
Isn't that banned in some countries?
I'm not quite sure. It could be.
I think I was told that by Dr. Koulis that, if I'm
Sounds
not
like a good
mistaken-
source. I would take his word for it.
If I'm not mistaken, that is banned in some countries.
And there's better sweeteners out there now. There are better sweeteners. Truvia, stevia, these are better sweeteners. They're heat stable, meaning they don't break apart into free radicals and can't be which leads to cancer, carcinogenic. So those things are ones, you want things stable when they're heated. When they get all funny and break apart when they're stable, that is not good for your body. That's not good. Yes?
When you get fresh fruit there in the winter though, stuff is shipped from California and all over, they gotta put some chemicals in, I think, don't you?
There might be, unless you buy organic,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, there is no perfect solution unless you have this biosphere. You're able to do all that stuff in.
From South America, and by the time it gets to your house, I don't know about that.
Yeah, but again, the point is too, I mean, you're going to eat something. You're going to eat something. And fortunately, Wisconsin isn't rich for growing a ton of things in winter, that's for sure. Prepare for your outing. Also, if you know you got a big day coming up, you know, Thanksgiving coming up, fun with family, football, then you go to Black Friday, then Cyber Saturday, Small Business Monday, and you're going to be out and about eating and that type of stuff. Plan for that. Just eat as healthy as you can. Turn it on. I have a birthday coming up in December, and I'm turning it on. I am just eating the best I can possibly eat because I know what my family does, and I know what they'll do for me. Also, balance your meals. Try to think about the total portion of your plate. Always think about half of your plate should always contain the vegetables, not the starch, not the main. That's what contains, and that's what's going to have most of your fiber. It's just kind of better, you feel less when you indulge on things like that. Think of the color of your plate. And not that you can't have white turkey with white mashed potatoes and a white roll. You know, I realize some of those things will happen. But there's also other things that are out there. People have a lot of other traditions that they do that can incorporate that. Kind of went to this, what we were talking about before. Beware of sugary food. They are interesting. They seem to have this overwhelming effect on us where my husband, he took a little snack size thing and he was up to eating 15 a day. And I have a very tall, slender husband, but he knew that wasn't good for him. I don't know physiologically, I'm not a physician, but there is something to be said for it seems like the more sugar you eat, the more sugar you want. I mean, let's be honest, that's my anecdotal. I've been a dietitian for 22 years. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I know how to cook. My grandmother was a baker, so I'm okay with baking, she's better. But I'll tell you, there's just something about it that hooks you in. So bring that sweet threshold down and try to go more with your fruits and granolas and things like that. Also too, remember, the more sugar you get, more fluid has to go inside of you. So sometimes people end up running to the restroom because it can kind of go through them. So keep that in mind too. Make it a point to always have something healthy with you. I don't know if you're going to necessarily carry fruits and vegetables in your bag, in your handbag, but maybe you have some almonds in there. You know, maybe you have a string cheese in there because it's getting colder outside, so when it sits in your car, it's at a good temperature. Those are okay things to have, definitely. Also, moderate your alcohol intake. Drinking 101, make sure there's something in your stomach before you drink. Don't drink on an empty stomach, just don't do it. Also, it adds a lot of extra calories and it lets us kind of let down, we kind of relax, and then we start eating a little bit more. Let's our judgment kind of say, I like that salsa and chips that was out. We don't normally have that at our house. Let's eat some of that. That's when that stuff starts too. So be careful of the alcohol. I'm giving you all permission. Now I realize I just told you about my mother-in-law, who y'all know now what she does, and I would never want to hurt her feelings. That's the only person I can't be assertive around because I love her husband. I love her son. Be assertive and say no. Just say, I've been working really hard. I've been doing a good job. I want to keep eating healthy. Thank you so much for a lot of this stuff. Don't feel like you have to always say yes. That's probably a strong word that I put in there. Don't get bullied, but I think bully's like the big thing out there now. Or what are they calling it? What do they call it since? Not harass. What's the word?
Intimidation?
Yeah, like since the election, like don't intimidate anyone or something like that. So don't let anyone intimidate you with food. Make a goal to leave something on your plate. I read a book called Intuitive Eating. Make a plan to leave something on your plate. Nothing will change. Nothing will change in that you're gonna get up, you're gonna go to work the next day, you're gonna sleep, you're gonna see a movie, you're gonna do something, but you're gonna feel better if you left a little something on your plate. I guarantee you will. We said, clean plate club, your mom said finish it up. I've never said that to my boys, but they eat the whole plate. Anyways, just leave a little something because psychologically you're gonna feel like I did my best. I didn't go for broke. I'm not sitting there with like my pants open and feeling so full. That happens. We have family that probably all did that. But I also say here too, take inventory. Identify some of those situations. Is it when you're at work, people are bringing stuff in at church, when you go to a certain friend's house, when you go to your in-laws, the extra baking you do at home or cooking and stuff like that. So kind of identify in your brain where some of this stuff might happen. I just have one where I cannot bring Christmas cookies in the house. I can make them and I gotta get them out. My children even laugh that they don't get many unless they're right at the oven when I take them out. Because I know how I am. I will clean one bathroom, have 2 cookies. We have 3 bathrooms. I'll clean the other one. I'll reward myself with 2 more. And they're good. So know what your inventory, know yourself. Plan of attack. Then decide what it's gonna be. Here's one that people forget about, sleeping. We all sleep, right? Studies are showing that people who don't get a good period of slumber, meaning 7 to 8 hours, gain more weight. That's not always so great. Their blood sugars are usually a little bit higher too. Part of the theory behind that is you're not letting your body completely settle down and all the hormones trending down. The other thing is you have more wake hours where you're thinking, like if we all woke up at 3 a.m., we'd all legitimately be hungry. We would all be hungry. But usually at 3, maybe you're rolling over, maybe you're drooling, you're in your deep REM sleep. But when people don't sleep uninterrupted, so a nice slumber period, they tend to eat more and weigh more, higher blood sugars. Keep that if that can be one of your goals. Another thing too, I have a plan. I like to burn extra calories when we work out. I swam this morning. After I'm done here, I'm going to meet my husband at the club. I just gonna stay on this because my birthday's coming up. Budget the calories during the day. I was talking to one of the nurses on the floor and I said, hey, you didn't eat much for lunch today? And she said, nope, we're going to Bel Air tonight for tacos. It's $2 tacos. And I thought, smart girl. She's planning ahead. She's thinking about that. Look for your healthier substitutions. And if you don't like those substitutes, have a portion, half the palm of your hand to get the taste, and then you're done. You're done, you're done, you're done. Big one too, plan. Don't ever go shopping like from here, don't go run and get something. You're gonna end up more than with that one thing, I guarantee it. I guarantee you will. Any questions on that? You're still gonna reward yourself, but think about what your reward should be. Is it a cookie after you clean the bathrooms? No, not in my house. But plan if you hit the goals you want to hit, you go to those after holiday sales. You buy that stuff that's 75% off because they have the spring stuff out. You decide you're gonna go to a full-fledged $12.50 movie at night because you want to. You don't have to try to rush there to get to the 3:30 movie. Stay positive. Nobody's perfect. No one's perfect. I don't even know what the definition of perfect is, and I have two pretty perfect boys. Not really. Try not to stress out. Stress breeds a lot of things, but one thing that helps a lot with stress is what, you guys? Exercise. Oh, it helps us so much. Helps keep your brain together. And remember what the holidays are for. You know what, usually you're not making like a big pie or a big turkey or big thing of stuffing with yourself in a spoon. You're with family, you're with friends, you're with the people you want to be with, and I know that sounds like super corny and really simple, but the older I get, the more I adore my parents for the work they did. I adore my children. I adore everything that's about that whole season. These are some good resources too. WebMD I do really like. EatRight.org, that's my organization. I'm with the Academy of Nutrition Services, and formerly called the American Dietetic Association. We changed our name, or the mypyramid.gov. But just remember EatRight.org, EatRight.org. That has a lot of things for people who aren't in the association, clients, and then people like dietitians who we run the association. So, do y'all remember that little handout I gave you, or you got when you were here? Which one goes out? Here we go. Cooking the heart healthy way. This talks a little bit about category by category. Meats, sauces, seasonings, convenience foods. But on the back, this is the part I really like. This is the part that's going to give you the substitutions. And it's going to give you very close to the product you're looking for. If you're looking for, I don't know, you feel like making lasagna, if you feel like a little Italian twist on thing. The ricotta cheese, use the lighter fat ricotta cheese. If you're looking for chocolate, baking chocolate, use cocoa and 1 tablespoon of olive oil or canola oil. It's going to do the same thing. It's going to do the same thing. White flour, here's one thing. Well, what's wrong with flour? Half and half. Get whole wheat and get white, mix them. You will never notice the difference. I do that all the time in my house. No one notices. Sugar, I always say too, if you can reduce the sugar in half or in third, remember, like if you have a yeast product, you need the sugar to activate it and such, but you don't need a ton. You can cut that down easily. Same with the salt, you can reduce it in half. Gravy, that's a tricky one because gravy does get a little fat, so you have to either defat your gravy or use a jarred gravy that's lower fat, but it's going to have a little bit more salt in, so keep that in mind. Any of the meats too, we're talking about using anything that with meat 90% lean. You always look for a 90% lean on those meat products. And I do have ones kind of asterisk here that are a little bit higher in sodium because that is existing. So tell me, any questions? I'm going to send around one more thing, if you wouldn't mind. This is a season guide for all different fruits because I'm not going to tell you to buy one seasoning, one salt-free seasoning, and then you say, well, there is no way I'm going to put a bay leaf with fish. No, there's all different ways that you can season poultry, fish, eggs, soup, salads, fruits, vegetables. It really gives some good complementary spicing. And if you're not used to doing a lot of spices, this will give you a good guideline. And then on the back, we have blends. So on the back, it shows low sodium blends because you know what? We want flavorful food without all the salts. We do. You can go to places like Penzeys Spices, pretty good in terms of, if you go in there and you tell them you want salt-free stuff, they send you right to the section. They're like, well, what are you making? I can help you with that. They're like a butcher. They can tell you what mixes well with other things. Instead of when you make it at home and then your spouse says, oh, that wasn't very good. It smelled good, but it wasn't very good. So that is kind of my thought. What are you guys thinking? What questions do I have? Yes, you.
Rye whiskey, is that low in sugar?
Okay, what did you say?
Rye whiskey?
Rye whiskey, low in sugar. Well, it's probably going to have about 7 grams of carb, maybe 4 per serving. It's not that bad. Not that bad. Yes.
What about somebody who's on warfarin, which is a blood thinner? Everything he eats got vitamin K, which is another blood thinner. We're kind of limited what you can do.
That's a tricky one. Warfarin's a tricky one because you want to watch the combination with vitamin K. Initially, what was first said when that medication was out and about was stay away from everything with vitamin K. Well, that's almost impossible to do. So what we say is consistency now. So, for instance, a couple high vitamin K foods would be Brussels sprouts, would be broccoli, and would be kale. What if you say, well, I don't like any of those? Okay, good. Then you're fine. But what if you like a little bit of broccoli and you like a little bit of kale in a salad now?
That's what I do.
Okay. What you have to do then is you have to have a little bit of that every single day, same portion. In other words, they don't want you to have a lot one day and then nothing the rest of the week. So if you just have it on Sunday, that's worse for your body than if you have a little bit Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And if you say to me, I'm not eating kale every day, yuck. Think about the foods that have vitamin K in, and then maybe you'll have a little broccoli one day, little kale the next day, little Brussels sprouts, little cabbage, but keep about the same portion size. Don't go big kale salad, little kale salad. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay, that consistent, especially for that. That's a tricky one. And then they check your INR, so you'll find out where you're at.
I'm sure last week.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Did you have one?
Yeah, the old saying is an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Now, I heard there's a lot of food value in apples. Is that true?
Yeah, apples are good. They have a little bit of vitamin C. I don't think they have much folic acid. They're great for fiber. Has a natural sugar in there. Remember, when you chew, masticate, sends a signal to your brain that you're doing something. And then that signal goes to your belly. So bottom line is, we like it when we chew. Your body likes it when you chew. It gets the whole process together. It's not maybe as nutrient dense as like an orange that has a little bit more folic acid, a little bit more vitamin C, but it has some good things. And if you like that fruit, you eat that fruit. Because that's better than you having a candy bar. That's better than you having like these, what did I see in the store? Gingerbread flavored marshmallows. And I thought, oh, they're on sale. No. No. Yes.
Not a question, but a comment. I read an article in a magazine just the other day. I don't remember which magazine. Start eating butter. Start eating those high-fat foods. They're good for you. And I thought, I'm a heart patient. Come on, gang.
Well, everyone's needs are a little bit different. There are some people that might need a little more fat in their diet, a little more protein in their diet. But I really don't know I cannot honestly hear Dr. Akulis saying, eat as much butter as you want. I mean, I can't even say it with a straight face. The two cardiologists I work with in, oh my gosh, Dr. Roth and Dr. Huxley, they would be in my office in 5 seconds flat. Dr. Huxley always wears yellow tennis shoes. He knows where I am. I'm right across the big gift shop. He would find me in 2 seconds and have a little talking to me about that. So some people's needs are different than other, but overall, your heart's, don't mess with it. You want to keep as healthy as you can on things like that.
That's what I do.
Yeah, and that's good. Now, you might have a little bit during the holidays. That seems reasonable. But as long as it doesn't become every day. It's like when people say to me, so if I have M&Ms once in a while, that's okay, right? But what if you have it on Monday, and then you're like, oh shoot, I have a couple left over, so you have some on Tuesday. Then you throw a bag in your office, drawer on Wednesday, Thursday, you finish it up. It became an everyday thing now. It's so easy to do, you guys. It's so easy to do. I mean, I've been there, I've done it. I have teenagers that are in this incredible weird food vacuum right now, that just can eat all day long. At 9 o'clock at night, my kids come flying down the stairs and they are legit shaking, hungry. And I suspect as I'm driving home, Mom, can you bring something home? No, you both can drive. So, yes,
Question about eggs.
yes.
At one time, we were not supposed to eat so many, now it's okay.
Well, interesting you say that. Eggs have a couple good things about them. They have high biological value protein, meaning your body uses it like that for a protein source.
What did he say, Papa?
Eggs. We're supposed to eat eggs now, not, and now we are. Has fat and cholesterol in though too. It's cheap, versatile, easy. Who can't make an egg, right? Like, I even think my boys can do that. But it still has some saturated fat and some cholesterol. Same thing. It's best to check with your cardiologist. Again, I can't imagine Dr. Poulos say eat as many as you want. Recommendation is no more than 2 egg yolks a week. That's what they're saying, 2 to 3.
A week.
Remember the white part of the egg? That's the albumin, that's the protein. You can have that every day of your life. Every day of your life. The yolk, the yellow, that's where the stuff is.
Are
You gotta watch
saying-
that.
Are you saying that the white has more protein?
It has all the protein.
All the protein?
All the protein. There is no protein in the yellow. It's
Oh,
all the protein. The yolk has nothing. It's fat and it's cholesterol.
okay.
For sure. That's 100% correct. You all know a trivia answer now. Any other questions?
2 to 3 a week.
Yes?
I'm not a cook, so where does roasted potatoes fall in? Big category, grilled, or deep fried category?
Deep fried category. I'd stay away from the roasted potatoes.
What about, they've been pushing a lot of these,
That's the minister.
baked potato chips.
Baked potato chips. They're pushing that. They sure are. You know what? You know what I like about those? Lower in fat gives me the crunch I like. Uh-oh, but the salt is still the same. Oh, it's still the same, darn it. So it's not perfect. So when you get a sandwich and you have a little crunchy munchy sensation, I would rather have you grab the baked bag than the naan. I'd rather have you grab the small bag that's pre-portioned, and when you open it up, there's only this many in. I'd rather have you do that than get the big bag and go, oh, there's only half, but at least there's more than I thought. You don't want that. That darn salt. And then they have flavor ones, they have barbecue ones. Yum. More salt in there.